You were too. You're always punchy.
I am. Well, no, I'm always grumpy, but I'm not always punchy.
Did you miss me yesterday?
AK link. Oh, do you want us to put that in? I missed you. Where the heck were you? What the heck were you doing?
So the last couple of days were the big event that my company runs, that Marketing Profs runs, and I moderated 10 things.
10 things. And what was so important that you missed the backpack show?
The photo walk with Steve Garfield. So every year we would do a photo walk for the B2B forum, and Steve Garfield would walk everybody around Boston and take pictures and stuff. And it was really cool. And usually it's like 7 a.m, by the way. So, virtual this year. So we didn't have to do that. But so me and Steve got together, and he had a video. He had filmed, Steve Garfield and his wife, Carol, had filmed a photo walk. So they did that. And then we gave tips on like how to improve your setup for video and stuff. So we talked about like Room Rater, we talked about lighting, we talked about sound, all kinds of stuff. It was it was very fun, but I missed everybody. Hi, Coach Woodard.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Backpack Show, where we get business success and inside information from unusual sources.
So today's guests, I found on Twitter this tweet from Chloe Condon, and it said, "We need more women, non-binary, people of color in tech to help educate the men who have historically built most of the block, ban, abuse features on social because, they don't work. You try to, report harassment and nothing happens." And I was like, we need to speak to Chloe. And then our other guest is a makeup artist and beauty influencer who I met, Song Lopez, Makeup by Song. And the reason I love her is because she built a business in this like incredibly crowded space, and she has just a stellar reputation. And it's so hard in industry to stand out in. I was like, need to talk to Song.
That's an interesting one to me that you went after the makeup industry. What about the makeup industry made you say, I think we need to put this on the show?
So if you talk...
Backpack Show. I missed you.
So if you talk to social media managers, they'll be like, everybody thinks they can do my job because they use social media. I think makeup is the same, where people are like, I could be a makeup artist. I do my makeup all the time, but there's so much more to it. I did an interview with someone who with a bald guy, and his head was very shiny. And so she found a way to help him keep his dignity and yet tone down that dome.
Tone down that dome.
Your mom is here. Nazim is here. Hi, Nazim.
Hey, so Milano. I like when he says it because then I think of cookies. Hey, Annette. Everybody's here. Listen, let's bring Chloe out first, Chloe Condon. And I want to talk. By the way, she has like a real day job at Microsoft. She's a senior cloud advocot.
I think that's senior.
It's senior.
Yeah.
I just love the idea.
Put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Little mariachi. So big yellow card, Brogan, for interrupting. Yeah, no question. All right. I knew I'd earn one. All right. Chloe, save me. Hi.
I get a pronunciation of Chloe Condon a lot.
Really?
My dad is Jewish, but he looks very Hispanic. So there'll be Mr. Condon. So, Senior Condon.
But you don't condone most of the behavior by men in tech. So
I do not.
It makes no sense.
That is true.
Hey, Michelle's here. Michelle says she's a fellow woman in tech. I was going to touch a button, but yesterday I touched all the buttons. Now
here's the thing, Chloe. Sometimes a man will hire a woman to push buttons for him during a show, and then he'll push them anyway.
Yeah. I've seen it happen before.
Not true.
I could not agree more with your makeup comment. My boyfriend can roll right out of bed, go into a meeting. This takes time. And I used to work at Sephora, so it takes time to look camera ready.
There's a little bit of water in the sink. That's what happened.
This is why we need more women in tech building like those Snapchat filters, so we don't have to do our makeup in the morning to get ready for these calls.
No, well, so I'm a lawyer. I don't practice anymore, but that was something that was so important because people would look at you, men and women alike, and if they like what they see, they listen to what you have to say and consider it. If they don't, you don't even make it past that. Yeah. I mean, I saw it over and over and over again, and it's a regrettable, unfortunate fact of life. As a professional woman, you have to think about your grooming, whereas Chris can be like, I just rolled out of the shower, guys. And everyone's like, he's brilliant.
I'm fine. Hi, Carol. Good to see you as well today. Listen, one question. So you have this sort of theater-y background. You have a lot of theater experience. I mean, you've played Yellow Crayon. I mean, and Blue Crayon.
And blue.
So you've at least two. It's like Face Off or something. You like get to play multiple roles, and for some reason that there's a bunch gap between that and working on Microsoft Azure and all that sort of stuff. Well, it's blue. Maybe that's it. I was a blue crayon. I could be how did
Blue
that
screen.
happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting story because I think much like a lot of young women, I was not really exposed to computer science at a young age. I loved computers. I was very good at computers. I played a lot of Sims in my day. And I just never really had exposure to it. So it wasn't until I was working, I worked in various roles in tech for a majority of my life, everything from, oh my goodness, virtual assistant, office manager. I was in VIP customer support for video games for a long time. I was a recruiter. So I literally saw what these engineers roll into work at like 11. I was like, they're nice. They wear a hoodie. I don't know what they do behind that computer all day. And it wasn't really until I heard a talk at Google that was all about getting young women, like middle school, high school age, interested in programming with these, by adding characters to Nickelodeon and Disney Channel shows, and also just making the curriculum more relatable and fun to them. And I Googled Girls Who Could, and I Googled all these organizations, and I thought, oh, my ship has sailed. It's too late. I was 26 or 27
You're
at the
too
time.
old. It's over for you.
But lucky
Get the
for
ice
me,
float ready.
because I thought, I'm not good at math. This isn't something that I can pursue. But my boyfriend said, there's these things called boot camps. You can still learn. You can be self-taught. So yeah, I attended a all-female software engineering boot camp called Hackbright, which is 12 weeks of a fire hose of information of here's how you code and learn how to interview, and good luck. And now I'm here.
Interesting. Those two things together, coding and interviewing.
Yeah, well, interviewing as an engineer, and they really don't tell you this at the beginning, is very different. Up until this point in my life, interviewing was like, "Hi, I'm a nice person. Here's my resume," and as long as you don't, say something rude in the interview and you're qualified, you're going to get it. But whiteboarding is a huge part of interviewing as an engineer, which essentially involves, you'll be given a problem like, solve for X on the whiteboard. And, they always say you don't have to solve it correctly, but what they want to see is, talk through the problem and how do you solve it and how do you use those problem solving skills, which I used to audition. I used to tap dance and sing and dance. And even then you knew like going in, like, okay, I'm going to sing songs from this show. Like you had an idea of what was going to be thrown at you. So it's been a huge adjustment. The only business experience I had was, other than my previous jobs, was being in the show How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. So
You're like, I'm not a business person, but I play one.
I'm like
stage.
the corporate ladder, you say. I think I was supposed to sing at this part. So yeah, it's been a really, really interesting, going from theater to tech has been different in a lot of ways, not just the interviewing, just like, the gender differences, the type of work that you're doing. But now I get to kind of bring my theatrical experience into tech, which, sometimes people love and some people are like, what the heck are you doing? Why is this meetup themed like a camp?
Bob wants to know what the boot camp name was. Says his daughter is looking for one.
Yeah, Hackbright. It's all women in San Francisco, I believe. Now during the pandemic, you can take it from anywhere. I just had a friend in New York take it as well. So very exciting.
You know what's nice? Talk about a supportive community of women. Look at all these women in here. The backpack community. We are so lucky.
Very much are. By the way, I had a strange disconnect. As you said whiteboarding, I went straight to waterboarding.
Yeah, like that.
It's not that far away though, is it?
I did tweet once that they call it a boot camp because like by the end of it, like you should have a badge of honor, like having to learn how to whiteboard and all of that. It's quite, I think anybody who's self-taught or has graduated from boot camp, and that's what's really interesting about this, right? Is I think there's a lot of stigma in the industry about, you have to have a 4-year computer science degree. And, I was 26. I had a 4-year theater degree already. I couldn't pay for a prestigious university or even a community college was really expensive for me. So I think it's so exciting to see, former, I have someone I'm mentoring now, shout out to PJ, who's a high school teacher who's learning how to code. I've seen bakers who learn how to code, shout out to Sophia, opera singers who work at Apple now. So it's really cool to see, folks just like me who are like, I didn't even know this was a thing that I could do or I was good at, and be able to make these career changes, later in life.
Wesley Faulkner's joining. He says, so happy Chloe's a developer advocate. She makes us all better.
Oh, thank
Wesley,
you.
great person.
I love him. He's raising kittens right now.
Oh,
He's like an animal husbandry expert on top of
love it.
everything else. So this is a big comment, and when I put it up, I don't know if it's gonna like Mike
We're gonna
Wazowski
blank
you.
his face, but it's gonna be worth it.
There it is. Okay. Linda says, I started my career as a systems engineer in 1971 when women were not welcome in tech. There was only
Yeah.
one other woman in my computer science class of 1969, but she didn't graduate. So I can't tell you how happy your story makes me.
Yay. And that's why I'm so like loud and proud about, I can't really see, but I have sparkly glitter nails and my hair is
Cool.
orange, like, the Fifth Element. I'm kind of a walking Nickelodeon character in a lot of ways. And that's very intentional. I mean, that's very much who I am, but I didn't see anybody who looked or acted or sounded like me in this industry. And when I do find them, I'm like, oh my God, like there's another one. So a lot of my Twitter is just highlighting and featuring other people who are doing quirky, interesting things in tech, like the analytical, a drag queen who codes at Google. There's so many cool, interesting things that are so much beyond your like typical JavaScript tech tutorial. Like I'm out here making a Shania Twain bot and a fake boyfriend app and a Mario Kart astrology. And I think that's my theater, like my left side of the brain that's like, oh, I have to make a tech demo. Like, let's make it fun. And I work with students specifically. And I think it's really important to show university students and especially younger students like, hey, like early on, like you don't have to look or act a specific way to be valuable in this industry. Oh, there's me.
Hairspray?
Yes. My favorite role, Penny in Hairspray, where I just got to chew the scenery. What a dream.
Such an
Wow.
exciting opportunity. So from Hairspray to Microsoft,
Yeah, quite a change.
obvious, makes perfect sense. Everyone would have understood it.
And I would have never, I mean, I love Clippy a lot. And growing up, my exposure to Microsoft was like Encarta and Clippy. And I still binge myself. I'm like, are you sure? Like, did you guys make a mistake? Like, this seems, I don't know. But that's another thing about making this career transition is just imposter syndrome is so real in every industry. But oh my goodness. Like,
Carol says this is very inspiring. When I did my math degree, it was the same. Women were a small percentage of the class, but it's changing now.
yeah.
I did not help at all. I did not like math. I was so
I'm really bad
I
at
was
math.
so stereotypical. I did so well on the verbal part of my SATs. It carried me through the math. I skipped a year of high school and missed a year of math, and I did not make it up. So you could guess how bad the math score was.
Someone on Twitter said that they were doing more math with the election than they had in their entire engineering career.
Oh my God, I know.
I agree. I have been doing a little bit more math.
Like that Winona Ryder gif where she's just like looking around at numbers. Yeah.
Hey, Chloe, you know that thing you're not supposed to do in Hollywood where like once you hang out with Matthew McConaughey, all your friends are like, can you give me that text number or whatever? We want that drag queen from Microsoft. So
yes. Oh my
can
gosh,
you maybe
yeah.
Raul says, I want to see the drag queen that codes in Google. Love diversity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be analytical on Twitter. Fabulous. Makes my Twitter account and amazing with all the TikTok videos. And
that's Philip? Get out.
Yay.
Philip, get in touch with us.
Yeah.
That's PJ. That's my high school teacher turned engineer that is working on Shania bot with me right now.
I see.
We have a Twitter bot that tweets out "Let's go, girls" every morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time to remind you to go and seize the day.
But for me, that's like 11 a.m. So I'm going by then.
Maybe we'll make an East Coast feature. That's a good feature request. We'll do the East Coast Shania because PJ is on the East Coast. So.
Yes,
that would impress me much. That would.
Okay, so that's our feature that we just built last week. PJ and I made it so if you pretty soon it'll be live when you tag we're bot_Shania on Twitter. That if something has the word impressed, impressed, impressive, it'll say that don't impress me much.
Nice. Or anything real Donald Trump says. Oh, that was a whole other day.
Stop it, you. It's too early.
Annette Mason has the Mike Wazowski that I wanted to just.
Oh, Mike Wazowski.
We're going to call it that from now on. You did it. Your whiteboarding comment is brilliant, Chloe. A great method for all kinds of roles. It combines showing communication skills, interconnection, problem solving, and improv. Good way to check out teamwork abilities.
Yeah, it's a lot like auditioning, except I think I prefer auditioning. Like I was a weirdo who really enjoyed the competitiveness of auditioning. So anytime that I'm feeling like particularly, I don't know, a lot of times I'll be the only woman in the room, or I'll kind of look around and feel a little imposter syndrome. I'll just think, you know what, if this was an audition and we had to sing songs from Candide right now, I'd be nailing it.
Oh, I'm super, super competitive. I went to college with my husband and it was a business school. And so you can imagine like how relatively easier it is to get cast in stuff at a business school, but it was still pretty competitive. And he used to love, he's like, when you would come in, the other girls would be like, there you go, I'm not getting my part.
Have you seen the meme about the election that says, some of you have never waited for a cast list to be posted and it shows?
No.
That's how I've been feeling.
I'm following the wrong people, obviously.
That's so true. So go check
me.
out bot Shania, bot_Shania.
Chloe, I have one last question, and we gotta boot you to the back for a minute. And
but don't go away.
Don't go away. The question is basically, what is the ongoing message that convinces a woman or any of the other kinds of categories that you'd like to see more of in tech? How do you get them there? What's the method?
We need you. We just need more people in the room. Like, I think a lot about the Hamilton, like In the Room Where It Happened song. It's just so important to have these people be decision makers and voices in the room. I think the example that I love to give is on Twitter. There was a feature that they added called Fleets. And if you're unfamiliar, if they had one gay man in the room, they would know that Fleets is a frequently used enema in the gay community. There's so many reasons to have perspective and eyes and ears in the room. And I think that the more that we have women, people of color, non-binary people in the room, we're able to read the room, build better products, and also be able to serve our communities better. You know, just like Carrie was saying with banning tools and a lot of these websites where there's abuse in place, like we need y'all. Like, if you're looking for a career change, let me tell you, it's a great industry. We'd love to have you here. And my DMs are always open, so let me know how I can help.
You don't know what you don't know is what I say. Like, I've gotten people talking to me differently on email, more politely, when they think Carrie is a boy's name.
That is true.
And when they figure out I'm a girl, it's like back to the typing pool, sort of.
Yeah.
All right, I'm putting you in the corner, baby.
Okay.
Boop. No one puts baby in the corner.
Stop it.
Had to do it. Had to do it. I got 2 yellow cards already today. This is a banner day.
It's early. It's still early. So,
I might have yellow carded myself yesterday.
Did you?
Maybe. All right. Listen, you want to make a show for yourself? You could do that. You can find your own Chloe, I guess, your own PJ, all these super people who show up. But we're sponsored by StreamYard. You can go to cbrogan.me/StreamYard and make your own show. It's the easiest thing in the world. Carrie wasn't here yesterday, and no one knew because I can run all the buttons all myself.
They noticed. Stop it.
It was terrible. We got our stuff done. So, but you could make your own show if you wanted. Ostensibly, you can make your own show.
You can.
cbrogan.me/StreamYard. Hey, authors, boop, go to pub-site.com. You can make your own site because your book is stupid, but you need to sell some.
Will you cut it out? Your book is brilliant and life-changing, but nobody will get it and read it and have their life changed if they can't find it. So you need a website to promote it and to promote yourself as an author, your appearances, all the good things. So get PubSite, pub-site.com. It's so easy. Even if you're totally not techie, if you haven't done the Hackbright Bootcamp, you can put together a website.
$800 a month.
No, it is not. Stop it. Stop it. It is not. It's $19.99 a month.
Which is also $20. They try to deceive you.
It has 14-day free trial. So you can try it for yourself, see how easy it is. If you're like totally just can't be bothered with it, they can build your website for you for $499. And it'll have everything you need because it is powered by FSB Associates, which is the best book publicity firm in the industry. So they know what you need for an author website.
FSB Associates has been around for at least 3 years.
25 years. Chris.
Oh, right. That's right. I'm sorry, I get that wrong. They're also sponsors of Person of the Day. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
We did it. Deb says,
how'd that go for you yesterday?
What, Person of the Day? I remembered. I found one.
How did it all go?
Oh, the show? I don't know.
Chris behaved for the most part, says Paul.
Paul's on my side. That's what I'm saying right there.
Oh, and Scott says, we knew.
Yeah. They knew. Everybody knew. Chris, no one knew you were gone. Narrator, they knew. All right, we got to grab Song. Song has she worked through so much adversity to get here. It was incredible. There were, I think, laser fights in her house. There may or may not have been a time traveling robot. Someone yelled, "Come with me if you want to live," and she got here.
She did get here,
and looking fabulous as well. Hi,
hi guys.
Makeup artist. Hi. Of course, she's gonna look great.
So does that happen? By the way, you can't no makeup it ever, right? Like you can't just go down and PJs somewhere because someone's going to run into you and it's going to be over. Is that what happens?
You should see the bottom half for this. The top half is all dialed in. No, I could not go on here without makeup. It's just my business. I know it needs it.
So how did you decide to become a makeup artist? Like lots of people like to experiment with their own makeup with varying results. How did you actually learn the skill of making people look their very best for the occasion?
It was my calling. I guess I was always supposed to do it, but I started in high school playing with makeup. I wasn't allowed to wear it. Grew up in the 80s, 90s. My parents were ethnic, Hispanic, Korean, very strict on makeup. So I would go to school and sneak it. I mean, what else would you do? And I became really good at it because I was borrowing my friends' makeup, which don't do that, guys, and especially with COVID. But and then I started doing their makeup, and the next thing I knew, they were inviting me to do their weddings and stuff. And I lived in Seattle, Washington, and a friend said to me, "Why don't you do this for a living?" And I was like, "People do this for a living?" I'm from Washington, so I wasn't in Hollywood or anything like that. And I looked in the Seattle Times to look for a makeup job, and Jean Reyes Salon and Spa was hiring. I went and auditioned, took in my friend that I always did her makeup, and they hired me on the spot, and it changed my life. So I was always meant to do this. I wanted to be a veterinarian, a firefighter. I had other traditional jobs in mind.
It's not that traditional. For a girl with good makeup to become a firefighter?
I'm an athlete. I'm a tomboy. I was a Muay Thai fighter. So to me, it was like people who knew me knew that I was definitely more of a sporty type of a girl to do firefighting and stuff. But I can't deal with gore, blood. They need to take me. So you would just put the
blankets on them after they come out. Like you don't want to see the ones that are all messed up in there.
I would be on the gurney. They'd be taking me. Yeah. So I did try out for the Seattle Fire Department, and I just couldn't. It was too gory for me. Yeah.
Well, so it's interesting. Your friends had you start doing their wedding makeup. Like that's super high stakes. So to me, that was an early sign that you were better at this than the average person.
Yep, it was my calling. I didn't choose it; it chose me. And yes, so I just flowed with it.
What don't people know about it that makes them look down on you? What makes someone super underestimate song?
Well, I think that more importantly, rather than looking down, it's like what makes a makeup artist good? Because you're an artist. You're an artist, right? So it's all about you, and you think, oh, well, I got to do this, and I want to do that, and it's like, first things first, it is not about you at all. You are the help. You're not the star of the show. So it's connection. For me, what sets me apart from everyone else is the predictability to see what somebody needs before they even ask for it. So essentially, I'm like the mama on set, or the woman that has the bag that's like, oh, he needs a Band-Aid, or they need lip conditioner, or wow, they need to drink some water. So I'm just very good at reading people and being able to care for them in a way that it's not just about makeup. It's about the connection and seeing what I can do for them, and to make their job easier so we can all go home, because if they're having a bad day of something, you need to be able to read that, not talk about yourself. Do not bring your problems to work. Nobody cares. And as artists, they seem to think that we're in a therapy session. So a lot of times when I work with high-end clientele or CEOs or, people from these big jobs, they're talking about their life. And I'm like, no, they're about to go on stage. They're not here to talk about.
You made up Olivia Newton-John?
Yes.
Because Chloe's name is inspired by Olivia Newton-John's daughter's name.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. That's so cool. Well, we're supposed to all be on here.
Yep. It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Who's your favorite so far? No one is allowed to answer that, I guess, but do it anyway. Who's your favorite?
I have this thing because I've worked with and I've been through times. So I've worked with, one of my favorite was Tony Curtis. I was his artist when he was living here in town. I like the old school Wayne Newton.
Oh, nice.
There is just something about these celebrities from the old school who realized that the reason why they got here was because of their fans, and they are attainable. You can touch them, you can talk to them. Where nowadays the celebrities are so not, they're so detached. Like you can't really reach them, except for on social media has changed that a little bit. But I remember being with High End and they're like, don't come to them, don't look at them, don't do this. And then you have Wayne Newton who's walking around the hotel and women are coming up to them and he's embracing them all. There's something to be said about that connection. I go back to connection, in this career. That is super important because we're just in a time where it's super self-absorbed.
So Deb said that she's willing to be your subject if you want to experiment. Look, she made me up. Song made me up. At a conference, I was interviewing people for Adobe, and she made me up so I could interview.
She was so fun.
You should also know from backstage that Chloe pointed out that she was in Xanadu as well.
The musical.
So she said, this is meant to happen. So.
It is meant to. I love when life flows like that, when just magic of life happens.
We call it alchemy.
Okay, there you go.
That's
I think it's just, yeah. And I'm not a techie, so it took an act of God to get me onto this morning. I mean, I was just running around like crazy, but I wanted to be here and be with you guys. So thank you so much for having me.
So excited.
There's a real secret thing that happens with that is that I get grumpy and I think the world is going to end. She's not here. This is terrible. And then what happens is it transforms because we had a friend, another Seattleite was on the show that day, by the way, your pal, Sir Mix-a-Lot, so he also he also doesn't know what to do with himself. But Genevieve Bien-Aimé, who's on the show as well, her everything broke like 10 minutes before the show. And she like literally physically just ran down the street to a relative's house and set up again and was ready to make the show.
Yes, exactly. I just find it, I was supposed to be here and I worked really hard to get here. And it's kind of like, I live in Vegas now, so this is where I'm at. And I'm honestly, I'm really happy. Like we're deciding when we're going to let you know the count of this election. And I love that. There's something about Vegas. I was like, hey, we're at our slot machines right now. We're doing our thing.
Rush
we'll
me.
Do that.
Jonas, we'll have Chloe back out before the end, so we'll ask her.
We'll ask her that question.
Advocate does. But so, Song, I wanted to ask you how you made your business in beauty influence and being a makeup artist. It's like there's so many. It's such a crowded sea. People sometimes view it like almost as like a commodity. Oh, we need a makeup artist, but you have a reputation. Directors, actors, celebrities, they know that you're going to make them look their best. So how did you build that reputation?
Like it really started. I started at a time where we didn't really have the social media. I mean, I started in the 90s and then the early 2000s, I was really building my career. I was going to LA to work, to Hollywood. And I just decided to stay in Vegas. Something told me just to stay here. I felt more comfortable here. And Hollywood came to Vegas. I mean, I was doing the Country Music Awards, iHeart Music Awards, Billboard Music Awards. So I was like in it with, at the top of the food chain, if you will, rubbing shoulders with J-Lo and, all these, I wasn't doing their makeup, but we're backstage with Usher and, all these talents. And so when I'm sitting there, I'm not a starstruck person. And I think that's the number one key thing being an artist. I treat everyone the same. You're a person, you put your pants on the same way I do. So I don't get, I've done President Bush before, I've done President Obama, and I treated them the same way I treated you, Carrie, when I did your makeup. There's no difference at all. I don't get nervous.
We had the best time.
We had such a great time. And that's what I'm talking about, the connection, right? Being real. People can feel energies of like, oh, she's nervous. She's, I walk in there confident in who I am and what I'm doing. So with that being said, I really built that foundation prior to big social media where everyone was a makeup artist, everyone was a beauty influencer. And another thing is I share my gifts. I don't keep them to myself. So I think that's another thing where artists will come to me and say, oh, well, Song, how do you do this? Or what product did you use? I'm like, here, it's for free. I give it because I believe in the universal law. The more you give, the more you get. And
you do. I came back the next day after you did my makeup and I did the interview. I popped over to say hi. I was waiting in line to get my picture taken. You know how some of the booths now will like take a profile photo that you can use for LinkedIn.
Yeah,
and man, I was really dragging ass that day. I was so tired. I'd been up since like 4 a.m.
I remember.
And you made me up again. You had no obligation to do so. It was so nice.
And it wasn't my job too, but
no. Not at all. And boy, did you earn the money I didn't give you that day, because I was like exhausted.
Hey, I should point out that Rick Charlie showed up. I was worried for a little bit, but he said, he showed up. So let's just start the show. Welcome to the Backpack Show, everybody, for Rick Charlie. I just wanted to let you know that we're talking to Song Lopez, who is an incredible makeup artist, Makeup by Song. You might have missed Chloe Condon. So
she's going to be back.
Watch the back, but she'll be on the panel.
I apologize for Chris's horrible manners. We are grateful that you've joined us today on the Backpack Show. Thank you for coming.
We're just messing. So glad. Rick and I have talked so much over the last bunch of time.
Philip says, as a high school teacher, your kids know when you're being authentic, and they love when you're as authentic as possible.
Very true.
Yep. So I would think too that corporate people, and celebrities, they have obviously very different jobs, but they all want to look their best kind of for the occasion. So is there any difference in the way you approach them? Like when you made me up to do an interview, was that different than if you made up a celebrity to do a photo shoot?
Not really. If anything, it's a celebrity. They know their face. They know the products that they like. So I'll have a conversation with them. What do you like? What don't you like? Because they'll be able to tell me, like, don't put contour here. I don't like under eyeliner. It makes me look darker. So I definitely give them the lead. And like I said, it's not about me. I'm here to assist in making sure that you feel your best. I'm not wearing the makeup, you are. So I never get offended when somebody's, trying to tell me how they look and how they like. So with the celebrity, I tend to be more like, what is it that you like? What looks good on camera for you? Because they know their face.
Mm-hmm. As opposed to me, I showed up and said, I get 3 minutes every morning to do my makeup before I take the kids to school. So,
and I love that because I get to do me, where I get to pamper you and do what I feel is best. But when you're working with somebody high end, they know their camera angles, they know what looks good on them. So they've studied their face, and I'm sure anybody in acting and shows like that kind of know.
So Chloe probably knows.
Exactly.
I have only 2 makeup stories in my life, and one's a crossover with Chloe. So I was on a play, The Velveteen Rabbit, and I was the captain of the Tin Soldiers or whatever. But I was a boy. I was like, I don't know, 12 or something. And I was a boy, and they bothered putting all this makeup on me, and I wiped it all off. I was like, I'm a boy. I don't wear makeup. So then I go and I do my scene, and I look ghostly. Like they always say, you're going to look really stupid without makeup on. It was unbelievable. Like I'm the whitest white guy. It was like glowing.
That's so classic, Chris. You will not believe somebody else's opinion until I
experience what
they tried to protect you from.
And then the other one was I was on the Dr. Phil show. I was one of those like special guests that like critiques the head case that's there. And when I did all kinds of research like you did for the Backpack Show and all that. And so I wore the shirt that I thought was the perfect shirt for the show because everyone and the person comes in, looks at me and goes, you can't wear that shirt. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I said, like everyone wears this color. Every guy on the show wears this blue shirt. And she goes, yeah, well, the other guy's got blue. You can't wear blue. Here you go. She goes, run out of the room, comes back and gives me a shirt. I'm like, whose shirt is this? Is this Phil's shirt? And so they just give it to me. I go down the hall to the makeup artist and I said to the shirt lady, I said, wait, you just have clothes? She goes, yeah. I said, could you dress me up like a cowboy? She says, well, I could, but I won't. And then that was it. So I go in and sit in the makeup artist chair. She was amazing. I've never had makeup because I'm not a makeup guy. But midway through, I said, could you make me look like a robot? And she said, I could, but I won't.
But I won't.
Said, what is this? Is this like an official thing of the Dr. Phil? I'm not helping you. So anyway, that was my only pro makeup.
Song, what would you do for Chris actually right now?
Yeah, what do I need? I have a little rosacea.
Can you offer?
Very Irish.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing with skin that has a lot of redding in it, I would take it out with the green, and then I would go back in and de-shine and put makeup on. So when you do green, it cancels out the red. But what happens, though, is you're so used to seeing the redness, you're going to be like, oh, my gosh, I'm so pale. I look like I'm dead. So that's the number one thing. So then what you do is you color correct the red, go in, powder down, and get everything even. And then I go and add a little bit of bronzer or something to liven you back up. But the redding is the biggest thing and cutting the shine.
So for professional women then who do go to the office every day and are expected to look a little dolly, to be honest, what's like 1 or 2 things that they can have at the ready if they need to do their makeup extra quickly? Like they have just a few minutes.
Yeah, I have these, I have a Lumi stick. It's just like a tinted skincare and I take that hiking, camping with me, and then a foundation stick. There's these 2 sticks that you can just go and kind of spot check, and then you can add a little blush, a little thing with this one Lumi stick. I take it with me when I go on my adventures, and it's amazing. I just tell everyone, do something. mascara, a little gloss. You don't have to wear a ton of makeup, but it feels good. I call it instant confidence. I guarantee you go and put a little bit of makeup on, do something nice for you. Take that 5-minute makeup in the morning just to pump you up. It's like the no makeup look. I guarantee you, it's about how you feel, not about what everyone thinks about you and looking at you. How do you feel? I feel good when I have my little makeup on and stuff. So I really like I do FaceTime lessons, and I really like to encourage women, have them bring their makeup, and we sit and talk through a 5-minute makeup session. Once they practice that, yeah. And then once they do that, we go, a month later, and we add 2 more things. And then before you know it, they're doing a 5-minute makeup and looking glam and feeling good. I call this instant confidence that can be wiped away at the end of a day.
So Chloe was just saying, she's going to be back any second, by the way. She says it drives
Chloe,
me crazy.
You're coming back live in a second.
When I don't wear makeup on a video call and a guy at work's like, "Oh, are you sick? Have you been crying?"
Because the lights completely wash you out. So it actually makes you even look worse. So having just even a little bit of makeup looks like how you would normally look in front of a person, just a little bit with all those lights.
One thing I was thinking when you were saying that is I saw something on, I think it was Reddit or something like that, and it was about makeup, and it was saying what guys think I look like with absolutely no makeup. And of course, there's all these tricks that I will stereotypically, I'm that guy. I don't know. And I'm like, wow, pretty nice. She looks good with no makeup. I have no idea. I have no idea that it's 20 minutes to get to the no makeup look.
Amy Schumer did a whole music video where guys were like, "Girl, you don't need makeup." And she believes them and she takes it off and they're like, "Oh God." So they're like, "Oh, more makeup, a little more makeup." And the end of it, she looks like a clown because they just kept with the makeup.
Yeah, if you watched Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, like she wakes up before her husband and does all her hair and like makes it look like she's just, that was very relatable. It's like, oh yeah, when you're dating someone earlier on. Like
yeah.
Like,
and I'm a huge advocate for natural. I don't believe you have to have makeup, but if you're going on camera and you're doing stuff, it literally, what I got on looks so much more in person because the lights have completely taken half of what I have on off. So it's really, makeup is very interesting in how it works on camera.
I have noticed that. So like when you're walking around just in the sunlight or whatever, it'll look like you have a lot of makeup on, but then, I turn on the lights to do the show and it's much more subtle.
See, people say that my theater degree doesn't transfer to tech, but I had to do lighting, makeup, sound design, all these classes that I took. But it really does, like lights even can just make a huge, huge difference.
What does a developer advocate do, asks Jonas.
Oh, great question. So it goes by a couple different names: developer evangelist, developer advocate. My answer is no, it's not a religious thing. So my job really is to educate people on developer tools. So for me, I work specifically at Microsoft. So a lot of times I'm teaching Azure tooling and different Azure ways to use Azure to our Microsoft student ambassadors. I work with on the academic team specifically. So I make a lot of content and videos and do things that help people learn how to use the awesome things at Microsoft. I haven't worked on anything.
You mentioned that you mentor as well. So is that part of your efforts to get more BIPOC and more women into tech?
Oh yes, that's just kind of for my own fun and enjoyment, and also it's my soapbox that I just stand on at all times. But I spend a lot of my extra time, and a lot of the content that I do is often highlighting or featuring cool, interesting people who are just doing really unique stuff out there.
Raul says, my grandma was taken to the hospital with a stroke. Oh my gosh, she took longer because she was getting her makeup done with the arm that was functioning while she had requested help to put on her heels. So I have a very interesting, and I'll keep it short, story about makeup and the difference it can make in your medical treatment. My best friend Andrea's mom, when she gave birth, was in the hospital not doing well, and they thought she was not going to make it. The nurses, she could hear the nurses talking. The mom could hear the nurses talking, saying, "Oh, that poor thing, she's going to be dead by morning." She looked ghastly. And so she said, "Fuck this." Like, so she got up, she grabbed her lipstick, started putting it on because she wanted to live. They came back in and thought, well, geez, if she's well enough to care about her makeup, I guess she's going to live. And they started treating her like she was going to live and making proactive efforts. So she did live.
I have a business question for both of you, which is, when you're sort of out and about and discussing this, when you're having a conversation with someone at back when we used to meet people, remember that? Just, oh, hi, what do you do?
Vaguely.
Not, hello, how do you feel? What do you talk about? What's the conversation that you most have? What's the conversation you most wish you had?
Yeah. I think I wrote a blog about this very early on in my career when I made my career change, but it drove me crazy. Like once I got my first engineering job, no one ever asked me what I did for a living. And I think they would always ask my boyfriend. They'd be like, oh, what do you do? And they would never ask me. And I was just waiting for someone to ask me. So I coined this term, like, don't be arm candy, be arm pizza. Like be, be the person. Like, so I always make an effort when I'm with other women or, you know, like to always ask, like, you know, hey, what do you do? But I feel like people often ask me, like, what do I do? And I say where I work, and I say that I used to have background in theater. And they're like, how do you, which was the question I got asked a lot when I was being interviewed. So I've got it down to like an elevator pitch at this point. But once I kind of break that seal, I feel like people know, like, oh, this girl knows what she's talking about. But it is a constant battle that I have to fight, because even when I go to, back in the day when we had human interaction, a big part of my job was traveling and going to conferences. And I would be wearing a badge that said keynote speaker, and someone would be waiting in the line for my talk and be like, oh, are you someone's wife? Like, and it's like, like I literally have shirts. I started wearing shirts that said world's okayest engineer. Just like literally, I would wear like purses that had a video game on it just to have people talk to me, because oftentimes I was being mistaken. To be fair, I used to play teens and kids on stage, but they would think I'm someone's daughter. So a lot of time it's like breaking that initial seal, and then we get into the interesting stuff. Otherwise, I'm just about toys.
I would get asked to type things a lot. I wanted to get a T-shirt that said #1 in my law school class. Like, you.
So what's your version of that song?
Wesley
what happened
says,
to you?
Before that, Wesley says that the makeup thing reminds him of Schindler's List, when they prick their fingers and use the blood to make themselves up. That's like a commitment to looking better song.
Yeah. Oh, I went to Bali and they use like plants and stuff to make makeup. It was really cool to see the plant leaves turn into, and bugs and stuff. They would use it to make makeup. Chris, what was the question again?
The question was, what conversation do you tend to have the most when you talk about your career? What one do you wish you had the most?
A lot of people ask me, how did you get here? They want to know. And I said, there is no straight map. We all have a different path depending on who you know, how much work you put into it. I mean, I first started off doing everything for free, photo shoots, calling photographers. Can I just be on set with you to watch you, and that's how those are those conversations. I think more importantly, the ones that I wish I had were about elevation. It's like, what are you manifesting? How are you going to, vibrate what you want in life? I mean, I'm definitely in a place right now of reinventing myself, especially with everything. My career has ended, if you will, because I'm not, Vegas is the mecca of conferences and we have none. And all our award shows went away. CES went away, which was one of my biggest clients. So I'm trying to reinvent myself. So my conversations are much different today. What is it that your passions? What are you wanting? What do you want to vibrate and manifest in your life? So, but before it was like, how'd you get here? Because it's so fascinating.
But people can get makeup lessons, because some of us need them.
You get makeup lessons, that's for sure.
I have, and I have my own makeup line that's cruelty free. It's amazing. So I really love to share and teach people how to.
How do we find that? Where's the line?
It's makeupbysong.com, and it's shop makeup. And you can reach out to me directly. I'm very accessible. All my information's online. You can find me.
There was a mascara I loved in high school, and I stopped using it because they tested on animals like crazy.
Yeah. Mine does not. Yes. And I'm a vegan. I'm really passionate about animals. And so I really wanted to align with a line that was cruelty free. Yes. Motives Cosmetics. Yes.
Super.
And yes, thank you. So if any
what
of you
about
ladies
someone
out
who's
there,
so pale they're almost blue, like me? Is there a line for that?
I got you. Yes, there is.
You should call it your Casper line. Like, I'm whiter than white.
I know, but there's so many great colors out there for you. And I love how you're wearing that red, so strong and powerful. That's good. Yes, it looks fantastic.
Time now for person of the day. Also like wearing red because it's an app. Person of the day today
into it.
is our animal husband himself, Wesley Faulkner. Wesley's he's my animal husband. He's not my real husband. He's just my animal husband. Wesley Faulkner, who I've known in technology for a million billion years since I went down to Dell and AMD and all those people. So I thought it was so great. I haven't seen Wesley around in a bit. Everybody saw you and just perked right up because they miss you and love you so much. So you were entitled to an apple just like that one. You just go to a store, pick it up, eat it. It's all yours. Thank you.
Well, I mean, buy it first or you're going to get in trouble.
No, you just eat it. Go.
I mean, I would wash it these days. I would
Sponsored by PubSite, pub-site.com. All right, last question. This is the what goes in your backpack question. Now, the question is basically this. The world's changing. It's shifting sands. You're reinventing your entire career, Song. I get it because I'm a professional speaker who doesn't fly to Vegas right now. So the world has changed. What do you put in your backpack? Either something physical, most often metaphorical, like hope. Your whole concept of making sure that people are manifesting and all that. What goes in your backpack? I'll start with Chloe because she had actually a warning.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I have a prop. I write down a lot of notes. I have ADHD and I'm just constantly buzzing with ideas. And I use a planner a lot. So I would probably bring my planner, which is this custom one that I have that says, it's a quote from Legally Blonde, It's Hard by Elle Woods. Because I not only need this to just keep my life together and get all my notes down in one place, but I also, this kind of my mantra, I try to channel my inner Elle Woods. So anytime that I'm like writing a note down, I try to remember okay, everything's okay. It's okay to be different. Just get it down in there. So definitely this very bedazzled planner that I take everywhere.
How about you, Song?
Hands down, mindset is the number one thing. I have shifted my complete mindset during COVID. I quarantined alone and it was scary. I thought the world was ending. I have all these pets and animals and I thought I ordered jugs of water, camp meals, solar powered generator at the time. Again, a female by herself. I was like, I don't know what's going on. And so what I did was I started living 24 hours at a time. And it was mindset. And I TikToked my way through the 90 days of quarantine. I put makeup on every day. I got up and felt good and I wasn't seeing nobody. I was doing it for me. And so that has now translated into this, what am I going to do with my life? And it's like, girl, you have everything that you've ever wanted and can dream of. And so it really just is every day I wake up with this immense gratitude and blessings for the things that I have. And it really has brought me so much abundance. Just, even being here today, I really am so grateful and blessed and I don't take it for granted. So, it's just mindset is my biggest tool.
I remembered you because you did my makeup 2 times, 3 years ago. So you're a powerful force to be reckoned with.
You're a very memorable person. It happens.
Thank you.
Did we share Michelle's comment as well? We did, right?
Rick says he's a theater degree hippie.
There's dozens of us. Yeah.
Do we all need to start wearing a hat with our job title on it? Good grief. Right? Seriously. I feel like women do.
No question about it. Well, my grandmother came to that play where I looked like a white ghost and she really was worried about me. She thought you are going to have a bad time. I don't remember if we told Song about this, but I'll tell you about my grandmother. Here's what she said to me backstage after the play.